AMC. No one is watching anything today. Everything is red. Later. What's up, KJW? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna advise you to do any hookah smoking, but you know, it's what I like. I bet everybody feels like crap today, and it's not funny, but um, it's unfortunately the case here. Don't worry, KJW. We're not losing all our gains. I'm wondering where are the halts that are supposed to be implemented. Um, you know. Now I'm just playing, guys. It activates when the French coffee is finished. French press. I love French press, guys. Keeps you calm. Um, so yeah, no, the halt activates if it happens all within 5 or 10 minutes. 10% change swing on the up or the down, and you can see how this has been very kind of a pullback to reload and basically go. I mean, I anticipate that actually tomorrow might be a very strong day for us. What's up, Mario? Yes, coffee is indeed very good. Wait on more people to get in the chat so that we can start talking. Tiny, yes, I know. I missed you yesterday. Welcome back today. Let's see. tlry down 3, GameStop down 7, AMC down 13, bbby leading the way, carving the way with 16% down, spce 3% down. I'm currently keeping my eyes on Krispy Kreme for a daily play, guys. Let me see. Ooh. How's everybody doing? What's up, Sheen? Welcome to the chat, brother. How are you? Okay. We're gonna start really soon. So is the market. It's about to end really soon. This is gonna be a quicker live, guys. We might wrap it up around 4ish. Because this is more about like just quick updates, plays we're looking at. So I'm gonna show you the view over here. Traveling, okay. Hopefully having fun doing so. Where are traveling to? Okay, I'm gonna show you guys a little something real quick on here. This is Krispy Kreme. The ticker symbol DNUT. Again, guys, I'm not a financial advisor, neither do I give financial advice, but I'm anticipating this. You see how this is a weekly movement on the week. You guys see how here and almost here it topped out like this act as like a resistance for on the weekly. So right now we're down here, and by tomorrow I'm anticipating something along the lines of moving this way a little bit, like kind of sideways this way, and then eventually go up to here somewhere, and that'll be the third time we touch the resistance. And it's either the third time and then another pullback, or a third time and obviously a clean break, which will complete the W. You see 1, 2, and with the third one somewhere around this area, here, that'll be the W. But I'm assuming that if we get this far at that point, that we're going to continue a clean break, through, and perhaps to, another high. Or let's see one thing. The previous high was right there, 2169. So that is very quite possible. All right, I'm back. Just was looking at one. So before we jump into all the craziness, and we're going to talk about 2021-10 in this as well at some point. So before we talk about all that stuff, what do you guys want to ask first? Frank, welcome to the chat, brother. And Vincent, ¿qué pasó, amigos? And KJW, what's the best quick plays to get it into right now? Well, I can't tell you what play to get into, brother. You know that, but what I can say is there are a lot of good plays, especially on a day like this. Remember, when there is fear, greed is very good, and when there is greed, then fear is very good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this pullback as actually like an orchestrated pullback for two things: one, healthy reasons, and two, for them to shake out a lot of day traders and paper hands basically out of the way. And this works, believe it or not, guys. How many out there? I'm not going to ask how many in the chat, but how many out there closed out positions that they have opened? Like, I know a lot of people that did options on GameStop and AMC, and they cashed them out. And they had them longs too. They had them long. They didn't even need to worry about the the extrinsic value really beating them up on the option chain. But they left it out, and they took out their positions, and they're jumping in again when they see the price fits. Again, that's just for options. They didn't drop. No one told me that they dropped any of their shares or any of that. Shares are out of the question at this point, at least for the people that I know. KJW, flipping a coin. So let's talk about. I want to hear some opinions at first, like from you guys. I want to hear some opinions on the 2021-10. the NSCC. How's it going, Tony? What's up with you? I want to hear your guys' opinions. You know, what do you guys think? If you don't know anything about that regulation, it's fine. You know, you're gonna hear some of the opinions, and you're gonna hear what I have to say about it. And Stasia, how are you doing? Hopefully, I pronounced it correctly this time. Welcome back. Let's go, everyone. No opinions on it, on the matter? Okay, I'll start. I'll go ahead and start then. Excuse me. Now, you know, guys, I'm not a financial advisor, neither this financial advice. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. If you have, then that's very good on you. And if you haven't liked the video, please go ahead and do so to push it out to more and more people. And hold on, we have Vincent. He has an opinion. Rules for the not for me. For thee, not for me. The 1% is nothing compared to the numbers of the 98%. We are a very strong army. We need to unite and defeat them. Okay? Very good message, Vincent. Appreciate that. And KJW said Pantheon didn't seem to think it would make much of a difference for us. We're like, so far that's very, very what's the best word to use here? That's logical for now, we'll say. Eric, welcome to the chat, brother. Some are saying it's good, some don't understand 2010, whatever. I'm not sure. Some saying bad. And Tony said, does it really matter? It will not change a thing, and it will still keep the markets corrupt. Okay. Let's put some intakes and some inputs on this. So this regulation, as you guys know, and when we mentioned Pantheon, Pantheon actually made like a complete dissected video about like the regulation and all that stuff, you know, about like, you know, when it got pulled and all that. Now here's the thing. This regulation, at least for now, took out the fact, like, if anybody still thinks that the market is not going to crash, and we're not going to have a major crash in the market, and we're not going to have a complete pullback and a recession that we're moving into possibly by 2023, I would say, at least beginning then, that has to be completely out. Sorry guys, you know, when I'm looking this way, I'm looking at the computer and I'm looking at just the chart, like some of the charts, and looking some of the things, and you know, the development of what's happening with the plays. But yeah, so if you still think that there's no possible way for a crash to happen, then you need to think 1,000 times over again. The coffee's right here, Pete. Don't worry. And guess what? As always, it's French press. Love French press. So now what 2010 was making available was for the hedge funds and for the institutes to go ahead and take all their long holdings and basically use them as collateral to get major loans, like similar like bailouts from the feds or from the NSCC or the DTCC, you know, doesn't matter at that point. They get the money at the end of the day by posting those long positions in there, and in collateral they get the cash to pay whatever they gotta pay. And when they get that money back, as they continue business to go back on their feet years down the line, then they have to pay that back, you know, in order for them to get their positions. That way the market doesn't see a crash, and at the same time the people get their money, and the hedge funds get the cash they need to pay the people. Now here's the thing. That sounds good to me. That sounds good to you. But it does not sound good to the feds and to the hedge funds. Why? And this is why, exactly why I kept saying that we're going to have a crash no matter what. Because that scenario may sound like it bailed out the hedge fund, but they're not, with that scenario, they're not coming out winning money. Like they're not going to win anything. That means they accepted defeat, but they're just trying to survive. And that's why I was always against that, because these guys are not built to think that way or to operate that way. They're never built to throw in the white towel and on top of that, give up any opportunity to make money. These guys are already made all this money illegally. You guys have known throughout 2021, toward the end of 2020, and then throughout all of 2021, and now the beginning of 2022, these guys have been doing nothing but collect retail money and give themselves, like whether in financial institutions or not, give themselves big bonuses in forms of bonuses. And all that money, I triple guarantee you, is going straight to the islands or to some Swiss accounts to be buried away in their wealth. And they're cool with that. They're not going to try to bring any of that back to pay it to you, to me, to anyone else. They're just not. And if it comes down to it, if they have to, part ways with that, like they'll do whatever, but to part ways with that money. Money is all their life. Their whole life, their whole diagram, or like their whole pyramid is built on money. That's the most important thing. And for us to think, what's the most convenient situation to solve this issue is kind of the wrong way to approach it, because these guys do not see, that as a way out. They need to make money. They don't care if you make any money. Of course, in order for them to make money, you have to lose money. But in the same time, the feds are not sitting there saying, okay, we just want the best for people and for all the economy. That's obviously not true, because it's an entity for itself, and itself wants to make a lot of money. That's why it's been making so much money throughout all this past year and a half plus in repo and reverse repo transactions. And I've broke down to you guys so many times before, and I'm surprised that not many are out there putting more traction on that theory, because it is the most making sense theory out there. The fact that why we've been going for this long in this process is literally through the Fed supplying and funding these hedge funds and these financial institutions money. And this is why you see the all-time highs. I mean, when I tell you guys again that the last time we were this high in the Fed repo and reverse repo transactions daily, well, first of all, it never was. But the last time, it was in 2008, and we all know what happened back then. And in 2008, even then, the highest that it went to was in the $800 million range. We're already doubling that on a daily base, doubling that. For majority of 2021, we already doubled that. And in 2021, December 31st to be exact, on the last day of the year, we did 1.9 trillion in one day. It's the labels are all over it, and people want to understand DD, and they want to understand what's happening and what could trigger and what could not trigger. The labels are all over it. I mean, this was a screwed up play from the get-go, and it's like you could literally easily say that they're trying to tank the market on purpose, because it's even more profitable for them then. I know it's very cynical to hear, because who's going to hurt from this? Taxpayers, the bottom of the barrel, the middle class, of course, if there's any anyways left on its last swings here and there. All this guys are people that are, I'm just changing the coals on my hookah, so don't think I'm looking down, guys. So the idea is that they can make more money. And how do they make more money? Because when it goes down, they short it. It's a recession and everything is gonna dump, so they short things down and make more money. And what's even better is they make even way more money on the swing back up, because they know everything is gonna rebound. They know that all these blue chip stocks are gonna be at low hanging fruit that they could grab with so much. and so forth and so forth. So that's how they see it working out for them, and whoever is in the market, when everybody is talking about plays and everything, this is why it's so dangerous to jump in long in some of these plays. Like right now, without giving a financial advice, the dumbest thing to do for me is to go ahead and, for example, jump long in Tesla. I know it's even undervalued at this valuation that it's in, but it is still very bad to jump in it for long, because as I said many times in the videos before, that we are going to see a Tesla, or we are going to see a Microsoft and all these plays. Like for example, Tesla, I could see Tesla in the 400 and maybe even the upper $300 range. I wouldn't be surprised at some point when this thing, or when this event kicks off. And as far as when will it kick off, it will be evident. Like the signs will be evident. People can say that it's 2023. People can say it's the summer or the end of 2022. But in all actuality, you'll start seeing the signs of that happening when the feds stop or start lowering their repo and reverse repo transactions. When you see that on a daily basis, like as I'm about to look it up just right now, this is how, for me, I gauge that something huge is about to happen, is whether it goes really high and it surges really high in one day, or if it drops completely low in one day, which means somebody didn't get their money, which means a lot of margins are about to be thrown out left and right. Let's see. Reverse repo for today. It is, and we are, back up on the move, and we moved up quite big too. It's almost 1.8 trillion, 785. So 1.785 billion. So $1,785,000,000 and 86 counterparties. So it's going up clearly on the day that it goes up major. Do you guys see the correlation here? Like, let's look at this. The past few days, the repo and reverse repos was dipping, right? Remember yesterday, it was up till 1.6 something. It was like 1.688 billion. And we saw what was happening. Every time that it dips, the reverse repo, you see what happens with our favorite stocks. They go up in value, right? We start seeing push, versus when it goes up in value, somebody's getting more money, which my probable cause here is easily that they're taking that money, and you see on what's happening today, all our favorite stocks are down. Now, here's the thing. Why would it not matter? Which is to Tony's words, just really reiterating those words. Why would it not matter for us? It's because these shorts are not covering at the end of the day, which is ultimately, when we go back to deleting all the DD on the side and everything, the main reason why everybody jumped, the first reason why we jumped into AMC or GameStop, was because of the overwhelming amount of short positions on the plays. Everything else started coming after, building on the play after. So like, okay, the thesis was short and short interest. Okay, good. Now we use that to jump into the play. After that, we started doing more DD. Okay, how are they able to prolong this? How are they able to get money to keep this going on? And all that kind of stuff came after. But the most important reason was shorts covering. And when things get like this weird and it doesn't have any explanation, like what happened yesterday on the crime level with AMC, as it was ripping, as we were predicting, it was ripping from the first 5 minutes of the market opening. And next thing you know, a weird halt that was not even supposed to be there at that right time. Like the halt happened and it was unexplainable. I'm almost inclined to say, I'm almost certain that halt was a manual halt, which apparently the NYSE commissioner has the ability and the rights to do manual or at will halts, if they see that that's in the best interest of the retailers. So they do that because mathematically or numerically, that halt was not supposed to happen at that level. It was supposed to be happening on the way down when it suddenly ripped down after the halt. Like $4 or $5. That's when it was supposed to go on. Let's see. Back to the charts. Okay, bbig still down. Okay. Sorry guys, just looking at all these so we can stay. Oh wow, all right. Bed Bath and Beyond. It is getting hammered. What? If you guys look as well on this movement, apparently the good thing that I've seen today is that GameStop and AMC, yes, they were in the red, so was many other meme stocks, but the difference here is that their chart is not extremely identical to the movement of GameStop. It is, yeah, been rather different. Still very close, but AMC's side has been much more violent as far as the dips on it. So it's been just the whole day on a transcending falling wedge, which I'm going to show you guys something right now. If we look at this on the week, look at this. So as we look at this is the weekly movement, okay guys? This is when we had our major rip, like on that time frame right down here, and then we ripped all the way over here, and we had that major attack. Then we bounced out of it, and then you've seen what's been happening today, and it's beginning to rebound, right? Now, normally when there's a violent rip, there's always a healthy dip, which this could very easily be the case, because now we're seeing this. Because the most important part is here, if we go on the monthly, guys, you get to see it even better. See how we were the whole time consolidating on a monthly base, and then we suddenly broke completely out of that transcending wedge that has been fallen. And it gets even more beautiful if I was even putting it on un momento, por favor. Look at the quarter. You see how we broke out of that quarterly even resistance when we broke out? That's one big full clean candle. Here's another beautiful one for you. And this one is on the yearly. Look how far we are from that major. This is why when we started going up yesterday, our major resistance, guys, is actually at 3307. After that, it's smooth sailing all the way to 4289. Remember this guy that I was putting on the side from a couple days ago? So that's on the yearly. We break this, which most likely we should be breaking tomorrow. We'll see how they go about that. But I mean, again, according to the TA, this is why I said like TA is normally not my best friend when it comes to the manipulated stocks, because you could do all the great TA and all the analysis that you need. I showed you guys in the beginning of the live the W formation that is almost complete for Krispy Kreme donut stock. But does that mean 100% you're going to get what you're expecting? Of course not. But at least on this part, like at least on our side, I would at least say, is that tomorrow we should be breaking that 32. We should have a surge again and have that $32 level retested or probably break it. And if we do break it, then it's smooth sailing all the way to 42.89, which is still a possibility by Friday. Let me look at GME while I'm doing that. Sorry guys, I will come to the chat right now. 1 second. And it's crazy because if you look at GMEs, you're gonna be laughing, guys. Look, GMEs, same exact thing. This is the weekly. You see? And then you go to the monthly, you see the same thing. You go to the yearly, and you see how GME is already anyways broken above the low because we've passed January of 2021. Otherwise, that would have been so below the the actual number. So anyways, let me stop for a second. Let me look at the chat. Eric said Frenchy Press. Yes. KJW. Also, I keep hearing different dates and opinions on when the big crash will happen. What's your thoughts on the ballpark of that? On that? I think I just mentioned it a little bit ago, but I'm gonna go a little bit over that, like touch on it even more. I honestly think that the crash should have been here already, like even long ago. I think it's just the plunge team slash, most importantly, the Feds propping the market up with so much money that has been keeping it alive. I had the reference of, I made the reference of somebody who's on a life support machine, who as soon as you unplug the life support machine, the person dies or the entity dies. That's what the market has been like for over a year. It's been on a life support, and the life support has been coming through the Feds. Let's see. And of course, today the SEC has its meeting and everything, and they talk about everything but the problems, as always. It's so hilarious how the crime always happens when the SEC is either live or doing something, or what seems to be important for the retail investors. It's always like that. Okay. Sheen, are you talking about 2010? I think we just covered it. I don't know if you've heard what we talked about. Peter said, well, the pullback was needed. Didn't think it would happen from Biden speaking, but I'll take it. Yeah, they're gonna make the narrative of the media that it's from this or that or this or that, but I guarantee you, I triple guarantee you that none of what they announce is the reason for what's happening with the market, is the true reason of, excuse me, why the market is dropping. It's been a done deal, and the market as a whole has been a hostage to this whole madness for over a year. That's why the complete shift to crypto would be much needed, and will be implemented when this thing crashes off. Okay. Peter, what's good, brother? Like, where's my manners? Well, you're all family in here. We're all family, so we can cut the manners and some slack out of the way. I had some weird buffoon write me a comment on the last video. I've deleted it. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it was stupid. Clearly the person, I think, didn't even watch the video, but he was saying stuff about, do you even know what you're talking about? Do you do you think that Robinhood, few billions a day, what moves the market, and blah blah blah, the 65 trillions in the market, stuff like that along those lines. I was like, wow. So now I'm having some chills, some chills are coming over to the channel with us. So we must be doing something good, guys. Uh, because clearly I've never mentioned anything about me still even have, like, I don't even have a Robinhood account. I clearly said that a friend of mine has a Robinhood account that keeps a couple of shares on it just to keep tabs on things when things do happen. How does it go down? And he kept it for tax purposes as well. So it's weird how I come and get this stupid comments. So I replied. I was like, then after that, I was like, why am I even doing this? This is a shill. It's kind of like I'm barking at something that is not even there. So I was like, I'm not even going to begin because this guy doesn't even know what is being talked about in general. I don't get why people ate freaking out. Everyone knew this was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, it was inevitable. It was coming. What nobody's seen happening, guys, or was not supposed to happen, was yesterday's crap. Yesterday's crap at the opening of the bell for AMC and GameStop, and it was 6 other stocks too that it happened with. And weirdly or ironically, they all happened almost around different time frames of the day. So I don't know if this was some sort of test they were running on their halt systems. But if you look at the 8 total stocks that got halted yesterday, I forgot the other 6 that also did it. They were all scattered throughout different times of the day. It started with AMC and GameStop at the open. Then it was followed at 11 by another. Then around 11:45ish, another, and then one more or 2 more around 1ish. And the last one happened literally like right before 4 o'clock. It was like at 3:40 or 3:45. So like go power hour this. That's what they were saying basically. And it could easily, guys, like hypothetically speaking here, it could possibly be very well a ploy or them testing out their halt system that they've implemented, and seeing how it will work when this thing goes down. Will it go on all of them around all time zones on different stocks? Will it automatically do it? It could be Robot Godzilla, as far as we know, being in charge, and they're just kind of like trying to see how it can clean up the process when it does roll, when the ball rolls. Which, if that is the case, it definitely supports the theory of tomorrow us running. Okay, coffee and water are good, but with for you with each other, but they're really not good for you with each other as well. Exactly, Tony. Many think stocks only go up. The ones that are panicking FOMO and today and yesterday. I say it's more accurate, guys, that many are tired of rinse and repeat. Touche to that, brother. But one thing, guys, so you would know, KJW, if it wasn't for the rinse and repeat, a lot of people also wouldn't make money. I mean, this is the market, guys. You're always gonna have the dip and the rise, and this is how people make money. When it goes up, of course, where there's someone making money, someone is losing money. That's just how it works. It is more close to a casino than anything else. But this is the market that we're in. This is how it works. It's impossible for everyone to make money on it because someone took a position clearly, and you know how the dynamics work. I'm not going to break that down. You know that people lose money in order for others to make money. We're abandoning the elites and their henchmen to include regulators, lawmen, and agencies. Indeed, Peter. We're fighting all those guys. T-Bone, dude, you crazy? The volume fell off by more than half. The hype is over. Well, T-Bone, just like the hype came and left, the hype can come back. You'll just wait and see. So I also said it's a possibility. I didn't say it's exactly what's going to happen because this play is manipulated. But just like when you least expect it, that's when it does happen. So if you're one of those people, T-Bone, that possibly had positions and sold them for these prices, and tomorrow, if tomorrow it rockets, or the day after, because you think that it's going to drop, who knows, down to the teens again, then we'll see you possibly FOMOing in like crazy, trying to catch back up. I've always said that these particular two stocks, if you're in them from the get-go as a short squeeze candidates, then there's no need for you to even have any worries or any thoughts about the end destination, because the end destination is what it's all about. If you're day trading and scalping this plays, this AMC and GameStop in particular, then hey, kudos to you for doing so. You are in a way screwing up the community because obviously they use your shares. So you're piggyback riding the community's backs basically. So you're not necessarily a friend to the cause. And I could possibly understand if you would have said something along the lines of options, you're just closing out options or whatnot. But stocks, if you're selling any stocks for these two, then you can't say that you're down with the movement or whatnot, because you are part of the reason why these institutes get these shares to keep the plays grounded. So it doesn't need a genius to say this. So I will never, and I've made this clear from the beginning, scalp AMC or GME, and I've made my words and even more clear yesterday, guys, when I said that when I buy on the when there's down movements on days like this, because at least my moral reasoning is that I don't want them to just sell. I would like to be that one buy order or that 2-3 buy orders that still come through. Doesn't matter whether they're manipulated or not. But those are the days I buy on, because it just, for me, I'm like, this is my way of saying I'm helping the family more so that when this does eventually finish, I can proudly say that, hey, I was part of this and I was one of the components of making this come to reality. So are you, and so is everyone else. But if you're day trading and you're scalping this, then please spare me the honors. Thank you, Michael. Hype is over. LOL. Where there is money to be made, it will just go back. It's all about money, not your feelings. Yes. Radwan, I don't know why YouTube is not notifying me of your videos. Well, honestly, there's two things. One, I've been having a lot of problems with YouTube. I've been posting videos for the last couple videos. I've been trying to post them, and then they wouldn't post them, and then I would have to check back with them over and over and over again until like one of them was a day late and the other one was like many hours late into the night a couple days ago. So I don't know. And now shills are coming at me with full force. So who knows? We might be doing some things good here or there. Or I might be saying some things that are not necessarily okay with some people out there. Oh, you also perhaps need to check, Radwan, if you have the bell button checked. Alan is in the house. What's up, Alan? And I didn't mean to skip some of the other ones. N-Hill 1981. What happened to Mullen? Nothing new happened to Mullen. Let me just check and see here what happened with it today. I thought it was on a down movement, but let's check. Yeah. It's still within that range. Like Mullen, I've made it clear from the beginning. Mullen, IMPP, Indo oil. Remember yesterday I was talking about Indo? those are going to be the classic pump and dump schemes, because one, it is within that time, natural resources and oil. You guys remember, I've said this many times also over and over again, that this is the season for that. The oil crises are real. The precious metals, um, the energy sector, all of that is real, and it's only going to get worse. So we didn't even crack the surface with what the capabilities of these stocks go into and how they're going to be so volatile in these coming times. Mullen right now is grounded for now, but I'm more comfortable, honestly. And again, I'm not giving advice. I'm more comfortable playing around the um, other stocks like the IMPPs, and I've made myself clear on Mullen a long time ago as far as the competition it has to go against in that sector, in that realm that it's in. And there's many more that I see that can flourish way, way, way more than that company. So I don't see it doing anything special, honestly. But that doesn't take away the fact that there's opportunity still. So when it drops, similar to when it dropped to the 58, 59 cent, obviously that was a great buy zone. Just buy, scalp it, goes up, you sell, you make money. As simple as that. But when the run, when it runs, then you might want to worry about jumping in while like kind of chasing it. And you're only going to be let down because you're going to see it pull back again, and then it's going to, consolidate, and then it's going to run again. So in a way, I'm giving you the case that if you're within it, you might get your run soon again, but first it has to pull back and it has to have some sort of consolidation method before it goes back up again. It's possibly. I went ahead and actually today, I'm scalping. I'm looking at Krispy Kreme, and I've actually opened up some puts, honestly, and I'm not telling anyone to go and do this or whatnot, but I put up some puts on Tesla today. So we'll see how that will play out by tomorrow. And it's not for this Friday, so just so you guys would know, I'm not gonna go do no crazy stuff like that with these times that we're in. See, Alan, that's good news and very good, DD. Thank you for putting that up as far as like Mullen having that purchase agreement from a Fortune 500 company. But again, like I said, your friend is the trend is going to be your friend. So when you see it run, know that you have limits. At some point, get what you want to get out and wait for it to consolidate again, or you can easily ride it back down as well and have puts on it on the way down, so you can make money going up and you can make money going down. Last time I did something crazy was with BlackBerry, and that was, I think, back in September of 2021, September or August or somewhere around that time frame. I can't remember exactly, but I literally rode BlackBerry up before the earnings that they had, and I think it was around that time zone. And then when I had my limit, I've seen it run a little bit more. Then I placed some puts in all within the same day, and it was a Friday too. So I made money on it going up. I had calls on it, I had shares, and when I closed both, I put some bets on it for puts for the end of that day, because the option chain was full, and it was showing that obviously that it was one of those plays that was just so clear that it was going to drop, so that all these options don't go into the money within that same day. So a lot of people thought it was going to break it and it was going to continue going, similar to what happened with Lucid, but that was not the case, because I mean this happened before the Lucid run. But I'm just giving you an example that this is what everybody thought, that it was going to come to an end and then it's going to drop. But Lucid proved it wrong. It actually continued going. So with BlackBerry, it was the opposite. It went up and then it came back down, and basically it was a crazy play for me that day. It was a very good day. So that's something that you can do with some of these other plays that are very shaky, especially going into talks of market crash, a wide market crash. The most stocks that will hurt are the very low budget, and perhaps the penny stocks will hurt the most. What considers a penny stock company to be a penny stock company is if it's priced, if its ticker symbol is below $5. It's not necessarily under $1 so that it can be penny stocks, but it's underneath, anything underneath 5 is a penny stock. So T-Bone, okay, T-Bone is still in here. Cool. I'm still holding 430 shares, 1283 average since January of last year. Nice. If I may have a question, T-Bone. If you knew that that this was going to happen, I'm wondering, why wouldn't you, since you're the one who's saying the hype is gone and all this stuff, why wouldn't you be the one selling in that zone and wait for it to go back underneath 12? Just hypothetically speaking here, I'm just interested into knowing what you would have done, since you knew that the hype is gone and it's done and all that stuff. You still can make profits, right? So I want to know your input on that, since you knew. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, I won't sweat it. Again, I'm not doing this for one approval or anyone in particular. I don't want to. I don't want to ever get to a point where I have to, upload portfolios or show like, whoa, look what I got and what I made from this and what I made from that. This is childish, guys. Again, at the end of the day, I don't give two F's who thinks that, that I'm saying stuff correctly or not correctly or whatever. My opinion is my opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. If you have a certain channel that you like everything they push out, stay there. You don't have to come become a shill over here. But if you do, I still welcome you, because again, we can go down that rabbit hole, and trust me, it won't be something that's gonna end up with you being smiling. What's up, Lord Nemesis? How are you doing, brother? How's your day going? Okay. Thanks, Frank. Hit the notification button. You hear that, Rodwan? Buy the rumors, sell the news. Yep. That's what I think too, Alan. I made a case for why it's possible that it could run tomorrow. And T-Bone, I was talking about the hype for the recent run up. Okay, T-Bone, I don't think you're a shill. Sorry. When I was saying shill, was about that person that commented, I think earlier this morning about yesterday's video, without even reading or listening to the video. So it's so clear to me now that you're not a shill. You're just possibly, affected by what this thing. You could be like your nerves could be off because of what happened yesterday, and the stopping of the run up, and then you see this today. You got to remember this, T-Bone. By the way, I love T-Bone sticks, so just FYI. T-Bone, let me tell you this. Since you do know this, I hope you know this, since all the incoming orders and the outgoing orders are controlled algorithmically or through the market maker. So all this volume, which brings me to this very point too as well. When you see this, when I posted the picture on the community tab, and I also talked about it in the video yesterday, that the pre-market orders, I'm looking at the level 2s. I am saying that if you go ahead and look at it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one in this chat that reads level 2 data here. It doesn't take a genius to see that, just frustrated. I knew it, T-Bone. You're all good, bro. If you see the fact that that the orders are coming in so crazy and the book is so filled with buying orders, yet you're seeing more, like on the tick by tick, you're seeing more red orders going in, sell orders going out, and I also posted another picture on how they can do this without even shorting the stock is by controlling the incoming and the outgoing. So the incoming, you'll see a lot of sell orders that are going through on the tick by tick, even though the order book is so filled, but what is really going through? So you have the reservoir of how many is in here waiting to go through as buy orders. This is a big explanation to why you hear that every day AMC and GME had more buy orders than sell orders, but we still have a 12 or 10% down day. It makes no sense, right? Well, the only reason why it makes sense is because when they control what goes in and what goes out, you can make the number that you want hit the number that you want. This is why they've been so successful with getting so many options out of the money almost at the last moment or the last second, because they move it at will. They can let 10 sell orders go through, which puts enough pressure on the price algorithmically to drop, and in return they will put, out of every 5 or 10 sell orders, they'll sneak in one buy order, which doesn't do much or anything. The rest is going through dark pools and utilize somehow to wash back so they can use as synthetics, and they utilize them so that they can get more money from the repo and reverse repo through the feds. And that's simply how they've been prolonging it. This is why I keep saying that the most important rule to be implemented is the one that the comments for it are due on April 18th. It's the one for the ATSs, which is AKA dark pools. You can see it on the Federal Register. Some of the members in this community have went and wrote comments, I hope, and they said they did. I encourage everyone to go and write comments on it, because I know the institutes are doing their part. When you find it on there, you can see that some of the comments, you can press comments on the tab that says comments are available already, and you can read all the kind of funny stuff that's on there. And every day they're writing a lot, guys. You seen 2010, you seen the NSC 2021-10, you seen that get pulled off after almost 2 years of back and forth crap. Finally, you see them yank it off, without any major reasons for it, which again now implies to me that two things: either that they're willing to just let it crash, or you have one other reason. Remember the first theory I was telling you guys, that they're gonna pay for this squeeze through the community itself? Well, this is why they've been prolonging this, because in all this time zone, they've been making so much money. Like, all parties have been making so much money. In fact, the banks have been parking their money in the Federal Reserve because they just have too much money. And this is what's causing inflation. One of the causes of inflation. So is it that they have enough money to deal with this without a market crash? I don't think so, but that's possibly what they're prolonging this for. Because if that theory checks out, that means it's prolonged for longer. That means they're still going to need more time to pay for this without a market crash and without the help of the Federal Reserve or the DTCC. That means you're looking at 2023, dragged on to 2023 at some time at that time, so that they can finally have enough money for this to be paid off, because 1.8, 1.9 trillion is just not going to cut it. Honestly, that's just repo numbers I'm speaking. But if that's the theory that they're going to go after, and that's what checks, that's what really they're trying to do, then you're looking at 2023 at minimum for this thing to pop off completely. Whether organically or not organically, anybody could have their takes on it. But if that theory is not correct, and that's not the way they're going about it, then the only other left theory is a wide market crash, because clearly the DTCC is not going to worry about the hedge funds or whoever's going to deal with this. The third and final theory, which again, you got to always think of best case scenarios and worst case scenarios, is they don't let any squeeze happen. And then that's what they think in their head. They don't let a squeeze happen in general, and they continue to take people down this aisle of hold here while you're holding here. We're making so many plays everywhere else, and without your participation, because you're also busy and all your collateral is held down in these plays, a few meme stock plays, while the rest of the market is free for us to play with, and do as we see fit, just like good old times, before retail stepped in. Now, here's the thing. Out of those three, honestly, the most cynical one that sounds true is the third one, but you have to also add in a lot of things. You have, look at the market and how it is. Once the Feds stop this reverse repo crap at this high levels, then you instantly cannot go forward. Instantly, there's no money to keep pushing this train. So this train is only pushing, and they're able to continue this crap because of the funding that they're getting. Now, will they be able to do this once the Fed stop this funding? Of course not, because every vehicle needs fuel to run, and this fuel in this case is money. When the money stops, no more running. Crash or bail out. However the bailout is going to be, it could be direct, where it's going to be ugly. Like I've said it so many times, like the way that no matter how you cut it, it's going to be ugly. And I can't even imagine, even if they want to come and bail out, even after withdrawing that act, that means they're going to come in and bail them out at an ugly looking thing, similar to the 2008 bailout. It was just all ugly. It was after so many things have crashed and got almost destroyed, that when the government stepped in and then, they bailed them out, and they bailed the bad part. They gave the people that dropped the market and caused the crash, they gave them the money to re-up, instead of giving it to the taxpayers, who ultimately will put the money back into the market. They give all the money back to the criminals that caused the crash from the get-go. So they got rewarded for it. Maybe they have an idea in the back of their head that this is what they're going to do again. They're going to get something like that again. Well, guess what? These wealthy individuals like the Kennys and all that stuff, these guys, don't be surprised if these guys have a direct line to the Oval Office. Like, don't be surprised. Again, these guys control so many aspects of the daily life movement, whether on the stock market or in business in general. That they're integral. They made themselves very integral to the daily life, and the economy on a daily basis. So these guys get extra privileges that obviously and unfortunately us other taxpayers don't get, because these guys have put themselves in a position of power. So they could easily reach out to whoever, whether a Congress member or the president, as far as I know, to get what they need across, or to get something going, whatever that may be. 1 second. I know that the market has been closed. I'm just going to look at the after hour movements. Okay, nothing too crazy. So everybody knows that Sundial is going to be doing their PR on the 14th, right? Not anymore of whether yesterday or the day before market. I heard that they went ahead and, forward their PR, their earnings until the 14th. And here's a very, very good thing about Sundial, guys. I read this one article at last, and I think it was from their commissioner, their CEO. And I just want to light things up. That's why I'm changing the subject, guys, a little bit, because we have more time and more time to talk about theories and all these things and everything, because everything, every day, whatever happens, it checks in one more block out of so many blocks to complete the image or the whole theory of which one is going to be true. But I stand wholeheartedly behind my statement that once you see any big change in the repo and reverse repo operations, then you would understand that, something huge is going to happen. Like, I keep my eyes on that because clearly that is the reason. Like, if you look at the whole equation from the get-go, everything was normal. And back in the June run up, this is how I was able to capitalize huge on those options then. It's because I seen these numbers of this go up. Back then, it started in February, or yeah, in February, right after that January run up. It started at around somewhere the 200 million. Can you imagine, guys? Look how far we've come. 200 million repo and reverse repo operations back in March, February, March of last year. I'm saying this right on top of my head, guys. So I could be off a little bit, but it was around there because I remember those moments. And then in April, it jumped up to about the 4 to 500 billion a day transactions, and that was like getting close to 2008 high numbers, which was 800 billion a day in repo and reverse repo transactions. So like that at that time was like, oh wow, we're about to reach the cynical levels of the 2008 crash, which means we're very close to a major crash. That was back then thinking, a year ago, exactly a year ago. So when I was seeing that going up and up and up and more, and I was like, okay, something big is going to happen. Like some huge move is going to happen. And the only plays that didn't get their run-ups were AMC. I mean, okay, let's be honest. GME at least ran to the 480. And yes, the SEC said that was not a short squeeze. It was just FOMO buying. I don't know at this point what we can believe and not believe coming out of any official or any people on that end. So at least GameStop ran up to that much. AMC did not do nothing. You've seen that bbby didn't have its run at that time, and that's why you've seen AMC do a little run, bbby do a little run in June. AMC did the run. I think bbby did theirs in September or October, just a small run. And you've seen a train effect of other plays do separate runs like that. Yes, the other meme stocks also rose with them, but not to the level. It was like that whole play was all about that particular stock, which in June, all of June, was highlighted by AMC. There was other stocks that moved up, but the biggest move was AMC in June, and that's what everybody remembers it as. And back then, we barely scratched the surface of 800 billion repo and reverse repo transactions on the day. Look where we at now, guys. We are in the 1.9 trillion. We broke the trillion, which is something that never happened ever before. Even 2008's crash, the height of it was 800 billion. And here's one thing you got to remember as well. Inflation and numbers are expected to keep rising in life. So yes, I can understand why things were less in 2008 than now, because there's a lot more variables that are in play now. You got a lot more people on the planet. You got a lot more money being involved. The dollar is not what it was worth in 2008. And we all know how inflation works. Logically, it should just go up 2% on a yearly base. But we know that's not the case. So being at 1.9 trillion on a day and then reverse it back, anyone that comes and tell you that there's no money in the world, like some of those influencers or YouTubers that come out and say that there's not enough money in the world to cover this. Well, these guys can do repo and reverse repo transactions for many transactions, many different counterparties, 86 and up to 90 counterparties, all in 24 hours, worth or north of $1.9 trillion a day. Let that sink in, guys. This is just all positions that they're willing to put or park for cash so that they could take that cash and utilize it to do more investments, short us, throw synthetics at us, make a big position in Mullen, or take a huge position in IMPP, take it up like, 30, 40, 50%. And then when FOMO jumps in, next thing you know, it's about, and other institutes jump in. Again, remember that they're all on the same line, guys. They are all speaking with each other, and to the point where they even speak to each other, contact each other algorithmically. Like they can put orders. The market maker can pump orders on with certain numbers on the chain, and other algorithms of other institutes or other hedge funds would pick up on that and understand what that is a code for, and they would do, and it will accordingly act to that. And that's why you see like the people that we're up against, they're of course not idiots. Yes, they are cheaters. Yes, they're cynical. Yes, they're everything in the book that is bad that you can think of. But you gotta also prepare for the fact that they came prepared. They came ready. It's not like after that GME of January 2021 breakout, it's not like, they were just caught completely with their pants down. And honestly, I'm even more leaning toward the fact that they even possibly caused that and made the carnage around it just so that, do you know how much the money they lost in that in GameStop? And do you know how much money they have made since the GameStop thing? It's not a bad idea to think the fact that they could have easily manipulated that and gave that GME run back then, and with some other plays, and even the June run up with AMC, kind of like a casino, to tie you in, just to lure you in. How many more people jumped in when they saw what happened with GME? I know for a fact that at least 90% of the people that jumped into the movement jumped after, not before, after that run up, and they saw the craziness. Oh my God, let me catch it, in a form of FOMO. And that could have been easily a very, very, very well planted trap by all these institutes, because look where we at now, a year and almost a half later, and we're stuck. Yes, eventually the patient will be rewarded and all that, but how long are you going to be patient for? That's the game that they're playing. They're betting on the fact that you'll give up and you'll raise the white flag before they do. Now, let's say that you are one of us where, none of that matters to you. You've already never over leveraged yourself. You're ready to take on all the patience that you need and all that stuff. You don't care. It's either everything or nothing. This is the mentality that I have, at least according to this. Then at least what else can be done besides just sitting and waiting? This initially was after I learned that we're not up against an organic thing. It's weird, and we have zero say and control over it. No matter what you would like to say, listen, we even had, people. I remember there was a lady that was on Twitter that organized it was some striker chick. That's, I think, her name. She organized, like in 2021, she organized like some sort of peaceful walk and in Wall Street, and planes flying and everything. And guess what? Nothing happened. Not no lawmaker came out to change nothing. Nothing happened. Literally nothing. And I'm not saying any of this, guys, to bring you down. Again, I'm in the play heavily. And I might be more affected by this more than any of you guys, based on the positions that I hold on these. But why am I saying this? Is for you to keep your eye and your brain thinking with all the spectrum so that you don't get caught with your pants down. This is mainly how you do critical thinking. You have to think of all possible outcomes. You can't just think of the outcomes you would like, or how any outcome could benefit or fit to your narrative or what your ultimate destination is. But instead, you got to think of everything, the bad, the good, the ugly, all that stuff. And ultimately, what I've come down with is, hey, I'm with a huge, huge, huge movement. There's no way after I weighed everything, millions and millions and millions of people holding this. And that's the scary part, is I don't know, you don't know 100% where the shares are. That's the truth of the reality. But one thing I do know for sure is that retail selling is not high. We're not letting go. And that's the main reason why I'm still in these plays, is because I see that retail, like on a daily basis, I'm just looking at the orders, the level 2 datas, and then I'm looking at what they report quarterly. The market makers and the hedge funds, and I'm seeing that of course they all are still holding their positions, which means nobody did no covering, which means no retailer is really, like, not a lot of retail is selling. You've got more people holding than selling, which means I'm not the only one holding, which is why I'm comfortable of waiting here. But does it mean I sit and just wait? It works if you have many jobs on the side and other things, and the stock market is not for you. Yeah, it works. You can obviously, that's perfect. But for me, I was always a little bit more greedy, and I wanted to up my positions more and more and more. And the only way that you could do that organically through your market is to always have a set side, extra side on the money, or a set aside amount of money that you could use to go ahead and make different, like, on different plays, which is what the institutions are doing. They know they're parked and screwed on these plays, so they go ahead and pump and dump other stocks to make money. It pains me to tell you guys that we have zero control on moving the stock. FOMO could accelerate the movement of something, but we don't, like, move the stock. These guys, when you're talking about an order of somebody buying 10,000 AMC shares, which is a lot to us, right? But to institutes, that's not really that big. That's a small time investment for them jumping into a play. So if you got 30 of these institutes at least jump in all at the same time, like at the very same time, with buy orders on a penny stock, like a sundial, or an IMPP, or Highcroft even, and they all 10 of them or 30 of them or however many of them jump at the same time with big boy orders like that. No matter how much we're buying, those little one after another order is not going to be as huge as those big orders, and that's what pumps up the stock. But when they do that, just know one thing, that it's a matter of time before they pull the rug, because they already went in. The price is much higher now. Now it's about who starts getting out first, and that's why you see the movement on that particular stock, or in any stock, like moving like a zigzag, because somebody, okay, they all went in. You see the major pop, one straight big green candle. You see it's like 100% on that stock in the pre-market or something. Oh wow, we went up 100%, 200%. Then after that, you see consolidation, and then you start seeing this go down. Somebody got exited, goes back up. More buy orders are going in from FOMO and from people who are trying to catch the play and chasing it. More people dump, and then you end up lefting. If you're one of those people that jumped in trying to chase, you're left holding the back, thinking like, how did this drop when I'm seeing that the datas are saying that, oh, more buying is coming in than selling? Well, the truth, the reality is that they all have exited. They could have easily well done that through the dark pool, because they don't have to disclose, any of that on the dark pool, which is why, again, the April 18th time for voting on the ATS's remodification is the most important thing, because any crime that needs to be buried, any tools for any criminal activity that they are doing or utilizing, it is covered or buried in the dark pool cemetery. That's literally all I have to say about that, guys. And let me stop for a while now from that. I didn't even smoke hookah, and it's finished. Oh well, it was well worth it. And now look at the comments. Hopefully not everybody's angry with me, because that was just a keep going. Okay, Alan, I think AMC will have a run tomorrow. We read that one. Yes, I agree with you. I made the case for that in the beginning of the chat. This feels like a Star Wars saga. Darth Vader's KG. Who is going to be Obi? It will not be me, that's for sure, brother. Ah, Lord Nemesis, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a good day until you saw AMC plummet. Well, don't think too much on it, brother. I think that the more good is coming ahead. One thing you got to remember is that we're no longer in the teens. Don't forget that, guys. We're no longer in the teens. We're gradually growing. I think, yes, I did make a case for why it could jump crazy tomorrow. T-bone, we're gonna see tomorrow what happens. I'm not saying that this is what's gonna happen, guys, but there's a big case, a reason, and even TA shows why. Like technical analysis shows why it's very, very possible to have a run up tomorrow, and indeed even close above 50 by Friday, possibly way above. I know it might sound crazy, guys, but it's a possibility. I'm not saying 100%. Am I still gonna hold no matter what? Of course. And I'll even be honest with even way more with you guys. I know many YouTubers are sharing like brackets with you and talking about. I told you before that I don't have such thing as a bracket because I try to sell my gold with its current market value. That's how I approach it. So the only way I figure that out is through seeing the shorts covers, the reporting on that. The ortixes and all those kind of programs are connected to the NASDAQ and everything. I understand there's a lot of corruption everywhere, but I never said that I see the squeeze happening anytime, just like anytime soon. We could, however, if we closed crazy above, if things go accordingly to like to how it was supposed to go to yesterday, without that weird halt that happened and that crazy dip from then. I mean, think of it, guys. Suddenly, the volume in T-bone, this is for you. At that time, we had 161, 212 million volume yesterday. Today, we barely scratched, what, the 70, 80, something like that, million. It makes no sense that for 2 straight days we get that volume, and now it's gone. Like, it's completely making no sense. But what was happening was a market maker possibly raising the market on purpose to these certain levels because they were pushed on the option chain from the put to call ratio. They were beginning, there was nowhere else they could take the stock down to. I mean, what are they going to take it down to? The 10s, the 9s, the 8s, and that was way more expensive for them to do and risky than to prop it up, make everybody FOMO, and now they have more space. But the one thing that they don't know is the fact that just for this week, guys, the put and call ratio are so almost identical, so identical. So if they push it either way aggressively, they're gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt really bad, either on the put side or on the call side. So it's easy. Like I can so easily tell you that tomorrow we're gonna have a up day. It's not gonna be a drop day, because if they do so, they're really off their barrels. Like cynical. Like they're really insane. You got over 100,000 puts that would go in the money if this was to drop back down to at least even the 20, 22, $23 range. You got that many puts that will go in the money that they will have to accommodate. If they let this go back up to above the 30 again, then you got over 100,000, maybe 140,000 actually, options that will go in the money total, not just one strike price. So they're really cornered from both ends onto what will they want to do? Will they want the downside, or will they want the upside? Like it's how do you want it in a way? So they could have easily raised this now to keep it in these areas. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the week if we close around the 27, 26, 27, which is almost where we at right now, range. But it's so easy to see that tomorrow we're going to have a little rise, perhaps another small little dip, but by Friday possibly close at 25, 26. Because that's the only level where they take the least amount of damage, is 26, 27. Anything less is going to be very harmful for them. Anything more is going to be very harmful for them. So if we get to the 29, or at least get the $30 level, then we will have another bullish setup similar to last week and the week before that, where in the beginning of next week, you'll have another little nice run up and we could gradually keep growing. That's another great theory to think about, guys. There's many things. I told you there's many ways to skin this. Is that if they might not like the violent run-ups, they might not like it rough, they might like it nice and easy, small little gradual rises so that they can accommodate it through the money. Now that they know that they're not getting a smooth bailout from NSC 2021-10, so they could easily be, liking it to be small and slow and easy, not rough. Whereas just like GameStop, 1 hour, 2 hours later, $400 a share. Good luck on the option chain. Okay, let's see where we at here. Redwan, many people are scared that the MOAS will get shut down due to fraud. Now, fraud, indeed it is, but it will not be shut down for that, brother. The MOAS is going to happen regardless because they need it to. There's been, what leads up to the MOAS, guys, it's not just the AMC and GameStop and the meme stocks saga. It's not just those that led. This is something that we've been bleeding on a very, very, very weak economy and too much robbery since before the pandemic, since before 2020, before even 2018 possibly. They've just been pushing this one administration to another, and no one wants to have it. One thing I can tell you guys is that I remember the transition from the Bush administration in 2008, back then, when these things were happening, to the Obama administration and how it entangled everything, so there's a lot of correlation here. Trump, Biden, who's Biden? It's very similarities to that setup back then. So I can tell you that this is just like, this whole mess is not necessarily just only from the meme stocks. The meme stocks is what they eventually, possibly, I think, they saw as a way to label what crashed the market, which is what they will throw on us. They're going to throw it on our hands and say that we are the ones who crashed the market because we're greedy, meme stock maniacs, the 401k holders, and the people who don't know anything about the stock market, which is at least 80% of this country, unfortunately, are going to literally go with that narrative, because who controls the media? They do. Who's going to write the articles? They are. They will write whatever they want to write, and they will say that, the reason why you're in this mess and you have to pay so much for your tea or coffee, or to buy a garbage bag for your recycling, for the garbage or the dumpster, is because the apes or other retailers were so greedy, they wanted to make millions, that you're in this mess right now. Of course, they will never label anything that they were doing, and all the Fed pumping money into the market to even make inflation more crazy. I mean, the Feds were just putting gas on the fire since 2018. So it's very cynical, guys. It goes much deeper. It's such a deep state of a thing. Like, it's much deeper than what anybody can really think of. And it's way bigger than just the meme stocks. Vincent, what's up, baby D? Yep. Alan, I just wanted to close over 28. That's great. Look, I'm working my way backwards. AMC is not even in the top 10 on StockWits. T-Bone, StockWits is StockWits. I know for a fact that AMC is at least number 1 on Webull. There's all the payment for order flow going. It's annoying how they manipulate the system, but we have to remain calm and collective. See, Alan, that's what it comes down to. Like, there's nothing else. Like, honestly, there's nothing else that anybody can do. People tried peaceful riots in New York. People tried so many things, flying planes, trains, whatever you want. and it did not change a single thing. In fact, it just gave them more and more reason, like, or more fuel to know that we psychologically, this is affecting us. Like, we're getting affected by what they're doing. In fact, more calm and collective is a much better weapon against these guys, because that's when they can't, figure out, like, what is going on. We normally are used to these guys crying and voicing themselves out and hashtagging things and going crazy on the net. We're not hearing anything. Like, what's going on with these guys? Are they okay? Are they still around? Like, that scares them. Silence is more scary than shouting. Let's see. Yeah, see, here's Vincent saying it. They want us to be frustrated, so we break down. Worrying and complaining will not change this play. The Roman Empire didn't fall overnight. If it was easy, this would not even be a play. Thank you, and well said. To sum it up, Vincent. The SEC is Shih Tzu. The infamous Allen. Not financial advice, but they're going to knock it down below 20 by Friday, legally or illegally. T-Bone, if they do so, it's not in their best interest to do so, because if they do so, they will get hammered on the puts that they have placed. Now, unless they're the ones who placed all these puts, then that could easily be a possibility, because the amount of puts to call ratio is weird. Like, I put another post on the, I think it was 2 days ago or yesterday in the morning, on the community message board. I did put, like, a picture, and I highlighted the calls and the ratio, at least up till that moment. And the puts were worrisome. I did say also in the comment, I think it was to Mario. Or was it to Alan? I can't remember, but you guys will see when you go there. I did put that this number or ratio is very sus, because the fact that you always expect way more call ratio than put ratio, but this one is extremely close. Like, the puts are very, very, very high, which means one of the sides is their side. And I'm having a hard time believing that their side is the call side, because they clearly don't want the price to go up or crazy. So it could be many of the puts, or if not entirety of the puts could be theirs. So that's the only way I see that happening. But if they have nothing to do, or not many of those puts are theirs on the block, on the option chain, then trust me, they do not want it touching anything under 24 rather than under 20. Just an opinion, T-Bone. The psychological is real and is being used every day on these stocks. Why they do it? Because it is effective. Retail is so easily manipulated. As for me, I feel so safe in GME and AMC. Well said, Tiny. Wise words, because again, yes, they judge the morale of the retail investors through, obviously we're always mouthing everything that we're talking about, whether we like something or we don't, or we hate it, we're always mouthing it and giving it to them. So they know our strategies and everything through what's happening. They know that we're hurting when we're hurting, because we're letting them know that. We're voicing that out. For everyone to see. So they gauge the market through the sentiment of the crowd. This is why when everybody's saying, yes, squeeze is happening, this is when they pull the rug normally, because they know that everyone is in. They gauge the sentiment that everybody's expecting high moves, and they come and they pull the rug and they do the opposite. That way they know that they hurt, that move hurt many more than not from retail. Let's see. Oh, Frankie Muhammad, what's up, brother? I hope you haven't been here for a long time without me seeing. Sorry I didn't get to the chat, but welcome to the chat again, brother. Lou versus Wall Street just said we was supposed to go to 80 yesterday. It was supposed to squeeze. Here's the thing, Frankie. You guys, the rest of the people in this chat, you guys have seen what I said 3 days ago, right? The day before yesterday. I said that yesterday, and on the live chat yesterday, I said, the day before yesterday's live chat, I said that we are looking at the move for yesterday was to go up and break that 42.89 and eventually jump into the 50s, and I wouldn't be surprised. And some people, many people didn't even say much, maybe because they didn't think it's possible. And yes, so when yesterday the market opened, you seen that crazy volatility move. We went up almost $4, $3.90 in just 5 minutes, which shows you that this was not only supposed to go to the breaking the 40 and the $50 eventually level, it was primed to go even higher. And I mentioned that literally 2 days ago. The manipulation was real yesterday. I voiced it out. I talked about it even in the live yesterday. It was out. It was out of the algorithm. It was out of the ballpark. It was a home run for AMC, GME, and then the rest was beginning to go up with them too. If you noticed, koss was beginning to go up. It was up 6% at some point. bbby was up and moving up to like 16% at some point, or 13% even. And it was beginning to go in that direction. However, when that happened, everything, like literally AMC and GameStop after that completely dropped. Somebody fire extinguished the whole play. And then you saw that today they borrowed so many shares. I don't know where they borrowed it from. As always, that's been the case. But yesterday, what made yesterday so criminally ill was the fact that they did that without borrowing shares. We were looking at it and we seen that there was no shares in the morning to borrow except of a measly 200,000 shares, which I think they even used only 100,000 of, or 50,000 of. Clearly somebody dropped major positions yesterday, possibly from the institutes, similar to the Vanguards and the BlackRocks, to drop that price insanely and kill off or wash off all the buying pressure that was coming in. That's let alone from what they allow to go through, like from the buy orders to go through. So not only that our orders are being filtered and siphoned, also they have institutes on the side, and this is why I was not really welcoming all these big institutes coming in and buying up the stock. It's because at any given time, these guys are all close. They're all buddy, dine and wine, same country club. When I need you, scratch my back. When you need me, I scratch your back. And okay, you've been lending this to me. I've been paying you premium on these shares, and I return it back. It doesn't matter, synthetic or not. It's all a game. This is just me walking you through the scenario of how they deal with each other. And then when the time comes, you would have already made so much money over the amount of the investment that you have made on buying these shares. So I would expect you to dump these shares on the market, despite whatever price value it's going for. Because I know a lot of people are thinking like, hey, why wouldn't they just sell it when it's 500 or 400? Don't they make more money? Well, do you know how much money they've been making lending out these shares all this year and a half almost? They probably already made about $300-400 a share, on a very scattered out scale throughout a year and a half, just lending these shares, and now selling them. They don't care because they bought the shares, whether they bought them at the $50 level, $40 level, $30 level. I know I'm throwing so much, guys, right now, so please bear with me. They've already made that initial investment plus so much more by all this time they've been lending out the shares. So now it's part of the plan, possibly, for them that, hey, it's an exit strategy now. So don't be surprised if you start seeing 13F filings soon coming out, because again, they're not supposed to report that they dumped or bought a new major position into any security until 30 or 45 days later. So in 30 days, arguably, you're going to see 13F filings being reported. But at that time, I'm anticipating, like, I'm going to keep this in the back of my head and I'm going to put it on the back burner. Many people are not going to be anticipating this, that what we're talking about now, except what maybe about 30 of us that are in this chat. I encourage you to keep this in the back of your head. Look in about 30 to 40 days. Look at 13F filings at Fintel and see who closed out their positions at what. Because on the day that they're reported, that's not necessarily the day that they did the transaction. In fact, it's not the day they did the transaction. So when people look at the reporting on Fintel, somebody opened up a position in AMC or GameStop, you're about 45 days or a month late to when they initially made that investment. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. So in about 30 to 45 days, personally, I'm going to be looking at Fintel every day, and I'm going to be looking, and I've been looking, every day, see any 13F filings or anything of that sort that come out, because it could easily, depending on the volume or how big that 13F, it could be triggered back, and you could bring it back and look at, for example, the previous dips that we encountered in the, whether AMC or GameStop. If you see that someone closed, one particular party closed a 13F, and it correlates with both one GME and AMC, and that same party had both positions, and they submitted a sell 13F filing at Fintel, whether we're talking about a month down the line, then you could easily trigger that or put your finger on that and say, this was the order or the person that dipped us last month when we were on the run up on our way to 50 and 80, perhaps like even Lou said after. You can put your finger on that because that's what it took. Now, I wholeheartedly say this, guys, that's what it took for yesterday to be completely washed away. They needed a major sell order, one major big candle to go on, and perhaps someone even with real shares or whatever, synthetics. I mean, at the end of the day, it don't matter anymore. They're all real because they all have to be dealt with. But somebody dropped that major thing on both stocks, and that was the explanation for what happened yesterday, guys. You and AB need to do a live together. Frankie, you know how I feel about that. It's long overdue, brother. I can't wait. I'll be honored to do a live with Frankie. Real one. If you're still in the live, Frankie, here I'm going to even put the ball in your court, and I'm going to say, whenever you're ready. And Frankie, if you want to, ever, I know we always are keeping tabs on each other as far as like videos and content and all that, and I appreciate all the support, brother. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. But if you ever want to reach out to me so we could talk, more in depth about things, or even to do some work together, like a live, like Peter just suggested, I'm all ears, brother. Or you can even send me yours and I'll reach out to you. It doesn't matter at this point. We're all, after the same thing. And I do like the message that you send, Frankie. So anytime you want, brother. Let's see. KJW is probably supposed to squeeze a few times by now, Frankie. Well, yes, it was never supposed to go past January of 2021, guys, but it was very evident and clear then that this was the road or the path that we were on. All these forces, whether due to the fact that they don't have the money to take care of us, that's one, and two, also them. Because you got to remember, guys, this idea, I don't know why sometimes people decide to, when we think of them, we think of them as robots or something. And at the end of the day, no matter how terrible or great of a human being that any of them are on that side, they're human because they, at the end of the day, want to look out for themselves. It's natural life instincts. Like, everybody's going to look out for themselves. There's no way these guys are just going to say, okay, well, we screwed, we got caught with our pants down, so therefore let's just deal with it. Clearly, that's not what happened. That's why we're a year and almost a half later down the line, still pushing through with this, because these guys do believe that at some point they're gonna outlive you in this. And if they can't outlive you, then they're gonna outmanipulate this whole thing so that they can fill up their pockets and their accounts. And when it's all like shit and they can't get out of it, they made sure all their money is transferred to safe accounts, whether in islands or in Swiss bank accounts, and then they can let everything fall down and burn. And guess what? They're going to say who burned this and destroyed this economy was the retail investors, which is you and I. They're just going to blame it on us. But there's no possible way where they have seen any of this ending with them being broke. You see what I'm saying? So even if they're some hedge funds get vaporized. Like, look how deep this is, guys. Listen to this. Even if some hedge funds, and I know a lot of hedge funds will get vaporized with this, especially what Lou and some of the people in here refer to as little D's. Do you think that they really come out on the laws? Let me go deeper for you here. The true loser is always somebody not in their club. And what I mean by saying that, as in, look at Melvin, for example. You know how I've been saying that they've been trying to make a scapegoat and a sacrificial lamb for the whole thing, and it's all been pointing at Melvin Capital being the one, like the guy from there. I guarantee you that that hedge fund could easily be the one, or any of these little D's get vaporized, and guess what? Their CEOs will still have their money. They will still have their bonuses. They will still get their rewards that they were coming after. The people who truly lose are the employees of those hedge funds. Which, when you look at it, there were people like us, like employees that were working just like us. Their masters on the top level, top floors, are the ones who are making the money. The people who will lose, even when those hedge funds close or go bankrupt, are their employees. They will be jobless. They will be nothing. And yes, you will look at them as, yeah, you're an ex-employee of Citadel. Well, how'd that turn out for you? You got screwed, right? But you think King Griffin is going to get screwed? No, the guy's trying to buy a football club. The guy's trying to venture out, and he's already transitioning has already been transitioning to the crypto space, because he wants to be the man, the god there, like he was as a market maker in the stock market. So it's always, the losers are always the same. It's the mass, or what represents the normal, the non 1%. The 1% will always take care of themselves no matter how bad their odds are. They will self-sacrifice everyone around them, all their employees, their whole company, for just the wealth that they have. Bezos, I guarantee you, he will do the same thing. He will sacrifice the living hell out of Amazon and all its employees in the pursuit of him keeping his wealth. They don't even have to come out on TV to talk about that. This is just what it's all about. For these guys, their wealth is their most important thing, because after all, that's what it was all about to them from the get-go, is become wealthy and become huge. And after you're in, you better make sure that you keep that door locked, and it's just you who can, who came through it, and possibly give connections to some family members or some certain individuals that all that 1% class keep revolving around themselves. That's why it seems like a revolving door amongst all of them. They're all letting each other in and out as they see fit. And they have a gatekeeper, and that society stays within, closed within for themselves. So the ultimate loser always comes out to be anybody outside the 1% club. If you don't believe that, trust me, that means you're either very young in life and you haven't seen a lot of crap in life, and life will teach you as we go forward. It was probably supposed to squeeze, okay, a few times. Salams, Frankie, why hasn't Teddy Zane received the same treatment that Lou got? What treatment, Redwan? I think everybody ripped Teddy. like way more, crucified him way more than even Lou. Just clarify it. Teddy is a clown. He said it will only go to 300 and that we should swing trade it from 50 to 300. Okay. As long as we close around 30 or higher by Friday, we good. Remember the week we started under $21. Nice gamma ramp for next week. Agreed, Peter. Teddy thinks there are no synthetics, which is impossible. The math doesn't add up. Yes. Teddy, clearly is... I've seen only one video from this guy, and it wasn't even a full video. I didn't even entertain it more because I didn't see any formal DD or a part where he said, go fact check me by following up on this. I haven't seen any of that from him. All I've seen in that one clip that I've seen from him was, I know someone and they told me and they're on the inside and they know this. And even if that was true and he knew someone, why would anyone want to trust somebody on the inside? I mean, again, that's their side. It's kind of like the in a war when you put any people, like any certain crowd under siege, and then from within somebody comes out and tells somebody from the army on the outside and tells them that, hey, they're dying of hunger on the inside. So, like, what am I supposed to do with that? I came here with an army to take over this. So, as far as I care. I don't give two craps what the inside says. I want all of them to vanish and burn and obviously get destroyed. All that scheme, all that pyramid scheme between them. So, yeah, 50 to 300 sounds cute, but no, thank you. I will not be partnered with any of my shares for that cost, or for those numbers. The government can do whatever it wants. The government can literally do whatever it wants as far as whether bailing them out or not bailing them out, or perhaps coming out with NSC 2021-10 again and try to propose another one in the near future to go past and get comments and whatever. They could do that again. Just like they brought that one up, they could bring another one out, guys. So don't give up on on -10. But as I told you guys before, all the crime is in the dark pools. I swear to you, it's like when you look at all this from above, from far away, you see all of it is in the dark pool. The way that it's connected, that it can be connected to the federal incoming money, the fact that the feds has been at this high level of repo and reverse repo for over a year, clearly matches with the same time frame that this crime has been going on for. So if the dots are not connecting for you, they're connecting for me. And I said that, like, look, every time this goes up, you've seen it. You've seen the price on our stocks go down. It's like somebody got extra money to do illegal stuff. Whenever you saw it go down, you've seen it, our share, like our stocks and our favorite stocks go up. Now that doesn't necessarily need to be the pattern, but I do know one thing: if that goes away completely, we moon ASAP, because there's no life support machine to keep this shit keep going on. You know, that's how they're getting the money. Kenny clearly is not putting it from his personal bank account. I need more water. My lips are getting chappy. Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? KMCC. What's your floor price for GME MOS? So, welcome to the chat, KMCC. I think I feel like whoever comes out new to the channel and asks a question like this, I think that's normally someone who's thinking. They're on the fences of whether subscribing to the channel or not. They just want to know from the get-go first, like, hey, what's your price? It's kind of like going to a store, like how much you charge for a pound of bananas or tomatoes, and if the price is too crazy, I'm not even gonna ask about the other stuff. I'm just gonna go. So I'm assuming you want me to say something you want to hear, and in fact, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna say what you want me to hear, what you want to hear, but I'll tell you this: everybody has a different position in those securities, and I've said many times before, I have a huge position in GME, and I upped it more 3 weeks ago when I had, before the earnings, when I had the straddles and the option story. The subscribers here know that story, and I added more to it then. I added more to that today and to AMC today because I told you guys I always buy on the down days, because now for me, morally, that's me helping on a day that we're getting attacked and getting brutally attacked and hurt. This is when I like to show up. It just matches with my personality. I show up when you need me most. So honestly, KC KMCC, sorry, KMCC. I'm gonna be looking at, whether for AMC or for GameStop, at shorts covering. When I see shorts covering, then I will be able to see the brackets and see what to hold and what not to hold for. And whenever the number that I'm looking at on my screen is matching what I like and what I'm seeing and what I want out of this, then I'm gonna pull the trigger. But I do not have certain brackets. Again, I'm the kind of person who wants to sell, imagine GME or AMC as gold. They're shares, but they're gold. Excuse me. And we all know that gold differentiates in price throughout the year or whatever event. And sometimes in certain events, gold is really expensive, like the times that we're in now and the times that we're heading in or heading to soon as well. It's even going to get way more wild and crazy. So that is how I see my shares. I look at them as gold, and I'm looking to price it. I don't want to sell it at market value. I don't want to sell it at at a preset bracket that I might be either overpricing or underpricing by a whole lot, simply because we're not there yet, and no one really knows truthfully how many shares are out there. We can have an idea on maybe how much, but until that starts happening, like the covering, and it ends, we're not going to have the full picture. So therefore, I'm going to be pricing my shares at market value at that time, when it's rolling, when the ball is rolling. Because again, things could change and things could happen along the way. There's no way you could say, when right now, if you're like when you're a kid, there was no way. I was trying to think of an example. There was no way that when you're a kid you would love to be a doctor, but you grew up and you didn't. Let's say you became a businessman. You realized that because when you became an adult, your mentality is completely different than what you were as a child or as a kid. So things change as we go along. Things happen, things change. So you have to be able to accommodate and also transform yourself accordingly to what happens. So hopefully that answers the question. Future Whale, what's up, brother? You having a great day? Yeah, Tony said we were on a rip, like a stupid money making rip. I have some friends, Tony, that yesterday made so much money on their options. They had some options on AMC. A couple of them had some options on GameStop. And you guys will be surprised if I would tell you, like, there was a few people that actually made on those options. They made like they made literally over $500,000 just yesterday, and the price didn't even reach it. Like, I'm gonna tell you guys here a cool story, okay? So they played the riskiest game of all games, which is, besides shorting, is to get options way out of the money. And these guys literally got the way out of the money options, and it was so easy. Remember when I was telling you guys a couple weeks ago, we're so close, I see it, and whether they manipulated it, it did happen, but they manipulated it. But the most important thing, that it did happen, and it's not over. Like, today's pullback is a healthy pullback. I'm still very bullish on the fact that we could still push by Friday. Tomorrow we most likely might get that breakage that get us over that 33 and some change level that we were looking at earlier, to ultimately prop us up to the 42.89 level. And maybe perhaps by Friday we could be in the 50s. Who knows? But there is a possibility that that could happen. I know it's not likable, but again, it's not. That's not how things work. Um, Things work completely different, and you again, guys, you will see with time. Um, let's see what I was saying. Yeah, so some of those guys, they literally went ahead and purchased uh, the options that were expiring in June, and they bought the last, like literally like the last one out of the money, um, and they bought in big. When I say big, like very big, and that was about 2 weeks ago when they bought them, because each premium on each contract was less than $20 at that page. So when it ripped, with the volatility that it's ripping, because that also adds more to the value of the option. Um, these guys had, like, somebody put in, one of them put in about $12,000, and you've seen how many, according to about 20 to 30, for maybe $40 an option, and you do the math, you multiply how many, or divide at least how many they bought at the rate of $40 a contract, $12,000 divided by 40, and you can see, and then when you multiply, the amount they made, because each option, if it goes $1 up above that strike price, then it's equivalent to $1,000, because it's equivalent to 100 shares in each option. So yeah, there is a few people that I know in our personal group that have made some serious eye dropping or jaw dropping cash. Tony said, "I'm there if you and Frankie go live." Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm down. Uh, hey Tanya, I don't, but I would think if he was, he would have mentioned it. In reference to what? Hopefully, um, something good. Um, I think next week we write to 60. Possibility, future. Uh, Future said that's what I do with options. Yeah, I mean, it's the riskiest thing, guys. I'm not advising or telling anyone to go and do this, but it's the riskiest thing to go out of the money and buy things, especially if you're over leveraged or if you have an amount that you don't want to. Because again, at that point, you're kind of gambling, but it's all about when you do it. Because for them, they took the flag that I threw out a couple weeks ago, when I was saying that this is very near, we're gonna have a major rise, we're gonna have a major move. We should have had a much bigger move yesterday, even, but obviously they stepped in and manipulated. And when those guys saw that, that's when they, parted ways with their options. The crazy thing is that even like if they did it, even before any of this craze happened, they would have even walked away with a little bit more, because the volatility was even more the day before that, before yesterday, like the day before yesterday, on the way up. So at the end of the day, they're not upset, and no one who makes a profit is going to be upset. Now, you might be let down with, you could have made more or wanted to make more, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be upset. KJW, bro, in my opinion, he has a position in it, but he is a trader by profession, remember? So I would not be surprised if he's trading in and out. Is this referring to Teddy? $30 calls, fingers crossed. There's a good chance, future. I can't speak much on, like yes, it will, or no, it won't. There's limits. Like, if I wish we could easily speak freely and comfortably. Oh my God. Maybe after this channel goes really worldwide and we get so many people in it, then after that, maybe we'll go ahead and transform all this from this platform and just make a platform for our of our own to be at. And then at that point, no illegals or illegals, legalities and whatever can go through. And I'll be down. I don't care. I'll pay for the thing just to create a whole platform for us. That would be fun. Reg Ramos, when mainstream media is still talking about GME AMC with no news each day from the company, then you know hedges are still in this play. Yeah, the hedges will not leave this play until all this thing is dealt with and finished. They will never. There's no way for them to cover or to close their positions without a catastrophe happening to them. Maybe the first guy out might survive, but I'm pretty sure the reason why that never happened yet is because they're all correlating on the same idea and orders. They've all made alliances and allegiances to certain things. So you got to remember, if you do something against that crowd, it won't be surprised that, don't be surprised if you see someone found dead or anything. Again, you got to remember who we're going up against. These guys will dispose of anything. No one dares to cross these guys on a personal level. Oh, okay, yeah, talking about Dave Lauer, and he has been a huge asset to this community. Educated us about the market. Yeah, didn't he? I remember his original story was that he worked for Citadel at some point. Didn't he like work for Citadel a long, long, long time ago, or last year, or the year before that, or something like that? Future has no emotions. KJW, bro, you might be posing the original question about Dave Lowe's lawyer only if you feel comfortable doing so. If not, no worries. Oh, what's up? Cool Runner is in the house, right? As we were trying to wrap things up, um, when do I think Sundial will run? So, okay, Sundial is going to have a very, very, very fun times upcoming because we all know that they have until I think it was August or September of this year to, do whatever they got to do to come to, the over that dollar trading limit so that they don't get taken off the NASDAQ. Now, I heard their commissioner, their CEO, speak on this, guys. And I can tell you one thing. According to him, he said he don't care. Like he will do whatever it takes to, and he's very certain that they will meet the requirements to not get delisted from the Nasdaq. So with that being said, he even mentioned that he said like he thinks even if they have to do a reverse stock split, that they will do that. He literally specifically said they will be ready to do a reverse stock split if they need that to be the case. And that's not a bad thing, by the way, just so you guys would know. In fact, I'm all for a reverse stock split rather than anything else because that obviously automatically puts the price of the stock at a much higher level than where it's at now. Does it affect? No, it's necessarily not. It's not going to change anything except the value of the ticker symbol. Now, it does also affect your position. So if you have like a huge, let's say you have 1,000 shares in Sundial. If they do a reverse stock split, let's say they do 2-for-1, just so they can get over that dollar hump, then you would be holding 500 shares, but the stock will be double the value. So that when you sell your 500, it's equivalent to having that 1,000. The thing is, selling the way you lose on this is that when you sell 500 shares, let's say Sundial rips after that reverse psychology thing, and it rips to $4, then you're selling 500 shares for $400 or $4 a share, versus if you still have 1,000 and it rips from where it's at to $4, obviously you'll sell 1,000, so you'll be making double of what you could be making. Now, what matters the most is for them to do the whatever they got to do to stay on the Nasdaq, because at the end of the day, when they finish that, I know they finished the alkaline or alkalina post day. I know they've done this like almost, they've been going back and forth with this for almost a year now, but they are literally almost done with it. And they just have to, I think they're going to talk about it that's why they delayed the report on as far as their earnings till the 14th of April, which cynically correlates with the options that expire on the 14th of this month. They're supposed to be, I mean, the reason why I say cynically is because that is supposed to be the highest, like, there's going to be a very, very high options to be traded on the option chain. You can see that it goes all the way up to I think on that day it goes higher than I don't have my phone on me, I'm using it right now to record, but I'm pretty sure that on that day it goes much higher than any other option records, like, you know, because the market maker wants to hedge their position. So it's so cynically that this day of the report gets pushed to that day. Maybe perhaps to screw up a lot of options on that day, and then afterwards you'll see some crazy movement. So I think you guys gotta keep remembering one thing, especially with that sector. You know, then the New Jersey House Senate guy came out and asked for delays and said delays and all this stuff. It looks like they're trying to push this until next year as far as regulating the marijuana, which is again much needed, especially when the crash happens, so that they can tax it and make a lot of money out of it on a federal level. So therefore, and when there is a big recession, you know, the rise in the use of weed and drugs is going to be through the roof. So what is the least they could do when there's a recession on the hands of the country, or with everybody going through a recession? Hey, at least we're not gonna arrest you for smoking weed, or if you go ahead and you're gonna need weed throughout these times to get you through, because everything's screwed from all around. So it could be 2023, guys. It could be the end of this summer, at some point throughout the summer. And if they end up, and I do believe that Sundial will have to do a reverse stock split to survive this, and they get through that, after the reverse stock split, you're going to have a big wave of shorts covering, because you also have them I think by the end of 2022 or by the end of 2023, Sundial reported that they were going to buy back shares. I think it was 5% or 10%, something like that. I forgot that detail, but I know that it's like that's what they're doing. So if they buy back shares and then they do a reverse stock split to stay within the requirements of the Nasdaq, then it'll be big trouble for them in this summer. Big trouble, but no set date on anything. Cool runner. Did you say Sin will still can squeeze? Explain. Of course, because Sin did not really squeeze at all. In fact, I would have been, if I was in Sin, I would have literally been in it, and I'm gonna take a position in it, but I won't say like exactly when or any of that stuff, so that it's not against the regulations of the YouTube stuff, or like advising anyone. But Sin have done everything that could ruin an investor. It's all literally in the past. They did a ticker symbol change. They did they did a reverse stock split. They did literally everything by the book to screw things up in that movement. And now it's back to its original crap. Now here's the thing. It is still heavily shorted. Shorts are not gone anywhere. All the shenanigans are out of the way. This is why I think it will squeeze, or still can run. It's because everything that could ruin us have happened already, and the shorts still did not cover on that side. So therefore, with the bad is in the rear view mirror now. Now you got nothing but to look forward ahead to. Nothing but great is ahead of you now. That's just the way I see it. So we'll see. Time will tell, brother. I'm sitting on 6,000 shares and 300 calls. Okay, well, I can say that that's very good for you. At the same time, I hope that none of these 300 calls are really short term, because I'm pretty sure by you playing calls in general and you have 300 calls on that, then you know the basics. So I don't need to get into that with you. Reverse stock splits usually suck. Okay, they usually suck, but again, like if it keeps, what would you rather have at this point? Would you rather have a still live to move forward, or would you like a dead play that you lose everything on 100%? You see what I'm saying? That's what you have to kind of choose, best of the two worlds. I do also like the reverse stock split, because in order to do that, they also somehow need to also know how many stocks are out there to reverse split it. So if they're doing a 3-for-1 or a 2-for-1 or even 10-for-1, God knows, that puts on a lot of spotlight on something else. So we will see what happens. All right, everyone. I thought this was going to be a quick live today, but it never is. Time is so sweet with us, with you guys. Appreciate you guys really well. Final things I would say to you before tomorrow is, most likely I will post another in a couple hours. I will post a couple of maybe one video talking about what I'm saying, this, and then I'm gonna add a few things to it, so you all still have to watch it. But I will tell you this here right now before I leave. Tomorrow, two things are gonna happen. One, you're gonna see a major rip, AMC, GameStop. If that is not the case, then you're gonna see consolidation. I do not see any down movement whatsoever. So those are two things I see. We've talked about it in the beginning of the live chat on even from the technical analysis perspective, why does it look like a pump is coming, of course. But then again, we always also say that, I'm one of the first ones to say that technical analysis in a very, very manipulated play is little to not much of a use. It's very good to price your income, like your entering point and your exiting point. So it's a great scalping technique, which I don't use with these plays. I use with anything else, but not with these plays, because when you, again, guys, when the reason why we always said buy and hold is because you're keeping away the shares from them. And that's what forced them to go ahead and start creating synthetics, because there's no real shares that they could utilize to screw with us. Now, if any of you think it's okay to scalp this play and all that, you are literally piggyback riding the whole community, because while everybody is doing their thing, you are the one who's breaking ranks, or you are the one who's letting the enemy in through that revolving door through you. You're one of many doors that is allowing those people to come in and have access to some shares that, even if they don't need and they create more synthetics, we'd rather them doing all the crime rather than us making it easy for them. So if you're scalping these guys out, like the AMCs and the GameStops, you might be looking out for yourself. Yes, you might be making some money out of it. But ultimately know that it's coming on the backs of the rest of the community. You're not part of the community, and you can never ever truly say that, hey, I was part of this, because we did it. You were just riding the whole thing all across. And if that works for you, that's fine. Again, morally, that's not what I'm about, and I can't do that. So therefore, I don't scalp these plays like I told you guys. Maybe on the option chain it's different, but there is a reason for that, because you can, if played correctly, the options could affect the value or the price of a ticker symbol, which is a stock, whether on the down end or on the up movement. And that, yes, I'll be more than glad to be a part of. But scalping, buying the stock and selling it again, and then buying it and selling it again, buy it and sell it again, no, because you're part of what is making this a prolonged movement. Because they, through people like you, they keep getting more and more and more shares to keep continue delaying this MOAS, this inevitable MOAS. So again, I'm not giving anybody any advice and anything. I'm not telling you what to do. Don't sell, buy, don't scalp or scalp. I'm just saying me and how I take it and how I look at the people that do that, how I view them. So yes, I'm not scalping. Don't worry. From my end, best and believe that all my positions on GME, AMC, and sundial will not be swinging left and right for scalping opportunities and making personal cash and personal gain. There's ways, even if you want to do that, I understand. That's why majority of the conversation today was about how can you still make money while you're busy holding in this, because that's what the hedge funds are doing. They know that they're held hostage here in their shorts. So all they have to do is go make money on the side. And they know that we're all held in these positions. The only difference is that majority of us are just sitting there waiting. For some, for reasons beyond their means, and for some, it's just because they just see it as that's it. And no one can tell you you're wrong, and no one can tell you, yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, that's your decision. It's a financial decision. But for me, I still prefer to make money and do whatever I gotta do to either up my positions in these plays or make my meets, meet my end basically, and make meets, make basically the money that I want to make through this, but not throughout scalping. With that being said, I'm going to read a few things. Thank you guys. Thanks to everyone. And Greg Ramos, thanks for everyone. I hodl for you and you hodl for me. Appreciate it. I do the same thing. Anticipate the video to come out later on tonight, and we'll see what's basically going to happen in the entire of this aftermarket movement. I would not be surprised if something crazy happens for sundial sometime soon. That's just another thing I want to add for Cool Runner. So much love, guys. Again, bbby Investments.